Hello everyone and welcome back to Super Mario Odyssey. We are here in the Seaside Kingdom where, as you can see, there's an enraged aristocratic octopus behind us taking out his vengeance upon the land, and we'll be dealing with him at some point in this episode. For now, we have a shop over here to deal with. So, as you can see, well, I've talked about this before, the shops in this kingdom are split in two. There's two dories that swim around the place. They're free roaming, and we actually haven't had a chance to visit the purple one yet. And she's just over here. I think Dory is a female. I don't actually know. They are just over here, so we will go and see. And spend some of our 33, quite frankly, hard-earned purplums. So if we talk to the woman on the back, we can get ourselves the resort hat and the resort outfit. Now with that done, we look a little bit more the part for the place. And what we need to do... this isn't where I got on. That must be where it starts or something. This is where I wanted to go. We've just been brought over here slightly faster than expected. To really go for the maximum, like, Super Mario Sunshine feel, here we are using a hover nozzle to spray water on fiery goop. It all feels terribly familiar, doesn't it? What I want to do here is, weirdly, this pool of water is covered in lava. No, don't ask difficult questions. But what we can do is go underwater and grab ourselves... Oh, we actually have to dive in this water because it's a hot spring. And grab ourselves a couple of purplums, and then head a little higher. So from here, we have the hot spring island, obviously checkpoint, and we can gather another couple of purplums and start clearing some of the water. Oh, that's in this area. Here we go. Using the horizontal spray is actually much quicker for clearing places out. Down here, we can actually then go underwater and grab ourselves 3 purplums, and also, quite nicely sitting over here, is a power moon. And not just a power moon, a story moon. And with this, we can send a third actually, cork straight into his increasingly exposed skull. Just one more fountain to go. Let's get the last one. We want to now head over here onto the beach. And we should be able to find somewhere near here. Time to explore a little, I think. Ah, there we go. There is a golden seed over here, which means we should take it back to the beach house to be with the other golden seed we already have. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to do this other than just a long, laborious slog. Can I grab hold of this on? Yes, I can. Cool. So I am going to grab this checkpoint here. Earlier on, so last episode, we got the Ocean Trench West checkpoint, and this one will be useful to us later. Ocean Trench East. Wonderful. Let's bring this back to the beach house. Apparently, I also never got this checkpoint at the base of the lighthouse, but there we go. That's called the Glass Palace, even. Oh yeah, because that's not the lighthouse, that's why. It's the Glass Palace. We will deal with that much later. For now, let's continue heading back to the beach. Oh, well, I'm pleased to see our first one's actually already grown, so let's plant the second one. And let's just grab that. No need for messing around with time. Sea gardening, inlet seed. Wonderful. We just planted the hot spring seed there. Wonderful. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Let's actually head all the way back over to the hot spring island. And now from here, we basically want to head south. And as you can see, there's this kind of stony path that leads back towards the cliffs on the south. If we bring up these binoculars, we can see our real goal is... There is our moon, there's a checkpoint up by it, and we need to kind of head to this bit of the canyon here to work up there, is what we'll be doing for the foreseeable future. Let's ignore all of this kelp, and actually, where is it? It's here. If we come over here, then this bit of kelp is in a little sandy bit. This is not an easy one to spot, though I believe if you have Joy-Cons on, this will rumble here. Which is the only thing that might give it away. Most of these ones where it's just like ground pound in a random location that isn't even rumbling, isn't even glowing, tend to rumble somewhat when you approach them. Not handy for me because my cheapo ass controller does not have rumble. But if yours does, excellent. You may have just seen briefly glittering underneath us here are some purplums, which we can grab, and then we now head to an area known as Rolling Canyon. So if we head up here, indeed, there is a checkpoint entitled Rolling Canyon. Shocking. If we come up to the left here, the main canyon is there, but we have a fair bit of stuff we need to do. You cannot see the magic of this place without all 4 fountains. You're quite right there, and we will be getting all 4 fountains soon. There's 3 purplums to the left there, and if we follow this cliff along, there's another 3. Don't let that fool you, though. If you keep following along, then underwater, right at the end here, these ones are very easy to miss, are another 3. And we are not done with purplums yet here. Oh no, far from it. Oh, that's actually a pretty sweet dodge. Up here, there are another 3 purplums. Kill some of these mini Goombas. Then up here, there is a glowing spot. Oh god, no. Butt stomped into this weird rolling spike thing. Well, at least I get healed from this. Brilliant. And then at the top, we have what we actually came here for, which is a golden seed. So this is only a tiny little seed, which tells us about the height of the planet it's going to grow into. We will take it back, but we're going to ignore these pirate Goombas and walk just over to this alcove here and grab another 3 purplums. 60 before even world peace. That's pretty nice. Let's head back to the beach house with this seed. Now, I'm assuming there's no chance in hell that our second one has grown. Absolutely not. Let's plant that and head back over to Rolling Canyon. Now, from here, we are going to take ourselves a Goomba, and we are going to head up the canyon. The Goomba does not actually help us get up the canyon in any way. I'm going to grab a second one there. We don't need the second one. We will get any Goombas we need on the way up. The Goombas don't actually help, but basically there is a lovely lady Goomba partway up. And it does help if you have got if you've got a Goomba up to her. Because actually, yeah, it's just as simple as if we jump here. Oh, bugger. Can I? Wait, what? Ow! Shit. Oh no, there we go, that was it. I'm dying, but she'll give us a moon. Yeah, you can make that jump I made with a single Goomba. I just took the second one because he was going to attack me anyway. So let's grab that moon. Wonderful. There's a very funny typo in my notes, and the fact that I find it funny does make me, of course, a child. But what my notes say is, go further up canyon, and 3 times purple coins, to poo in left. In poo to left. I clearly meant to put in pool. I put poo instead because I missed out an L, which is of course deeply funny to me. But what the hell happened there? Either way, when we get to the top, you can crack through all of these, get the checkpoints, and grab ourselves the 4th of our main story moons here. And with that, we launch our final cork into Mollusque-Lanceur's head. Great, time to take back the sparkle water. Not quite. So you'll notice, so this is an unusual boss in that it's a free roaming boss. He's just moving around the kingdom at his own pace, and he'll just fly around happily. I'm going to show off something that not many people see here. In fact, I first learned that this was a thing from the game's soundtrack. So you can hear this music from fighting Mollusque-Lanceur. If we go into this pipe here, or not quite, this pipe takes us into a retro area. It's fucking stupid in a lot of ways to do a retro area. Oh, there we go. Oh, we're pushing this game hard. It's dumb to do a retro area while you're in the middle of a boss fight, but in case you did, listen. There is, in fact, a retro version of the Mollusque-Lanceur boss theme, just on the off chance that you were in the middle of this boss fight and was like, you know what, I want to go and do this treasure here this moon here in the underground labyrinth. Why anyone of sound mind would ever choose to do that? Baffling. But the fact is, it is completely possible as an option. I've unlocked this little side bit here using the red Koopa. It's really hard to actually see what I'm doing because fucking Mollusque-Lanceur is firing shots at us. Mollusque-Lanceur is French, of course, for mollusk launcher, and he is launching shelled organisms at us, so very much living up to his name. But with the bonus moon got from here, we'll head back outside again. And it is this pipe over here. All four of them, as you can see, lead to the kind of the same area. You just have to kind of move between them a bit. When we went into that first one, we revealed some invisible blocks, and those will be useful when we're in this one. But yeah, it's really nice attention to detail in the game that they genuinely put like a version of this in retro music just in case you did this. I do really like that. Is that going to work? Yes, it is. Cool. So that's opened a way through to the right. Which I do actually want to take. Hopefully people can see what the shit is going on here. I admit it's not the easiest. But I wanted to show off this music because literally I only found this out when I was like listening to this game soundtrack and there was like Mollusque-Lanceur 8-bit edition and I was like, you don't fight him in like a retro ball? Like, what the hell are you on about? Ow. And yeah, then I was like, oh yes, technically there is that retro area, and Mollusque-Lanceur is unusual in that he's a free-roaming boss rather than being, you know, actually based in an arena in any sense. So I was like, yeah, I'll actually show that off because like, God knows how many people actually ever experience this music directly as part of the game, but I'm going to go ahead and bet not that many. So there we go, look at me doing something new. But with all of that done, we can grab the moon we need here, Ocean Bottom Maze, and actually should probably fight this bloke, quite frankly. So, how do we fight Mollusque-Lanceur? As you can see, he's got a load of fucking... Well, you might not be able to necessarily see it, but now you clearly can. He's got a load of lava on his head. His head is obviously his weak spot. There are two primary ways of fighting him, and we're going to use what I find is the easier way. Let's open up this chest here to get ourselves a heart container, which will just make this boss a little smoother, and we are going to grab ourselves a Gushon, which if you look carefully, you'll realise they are basically a tiny version of Mollusque-Lanceur anyway. But what we need to do is get towards his head. So, what I recommend doing is hover on the ground until you can get pretty close to him. This in some ways feels like fighting Knuckle Attack. When you're close to him, head up and forwards, and then just up, and just spray water onto his head. It's like the Hover Nozzle. Very Mario Sunshine. Haven't quite done enough to him, so let's recharge our water. This is just... Man, it's a mystery why this is my favourite kingdom. It truly is. Because it's just Mario Sunshine, but in 2017. But it's got a lot of cool stuff going on anyway. And it's like, it does feel very different. It's got... Okay, probably hits the similar notes to me, but it's just... I really like this particular kingdom, but also for feeling like really it does do all like the free roaming kind of stuff. Of just, it's a very big open area. You've got all these cool little islands that have all kind of got their own feel. Like it's a very expansive kingdom, and feels very cool. And something big happens when we get world peace, which just makes it icing on the cake. But oh, look at those clouds! Man, we've come a long way since, you know, the blocky clouds of Mario Sunshine. Thank you, game, for telling me how to use a Gushon. I know I was moving the camera around weirdly, but it's not that bad. You can spray water on him, or you can do what I'm going to do here and ground pound, which is sometimes much more satisfying. Genuinely, whether you ground pound him or whether you spray down on his head until it does damage with the Gushon, doesn't matter. Both are completely valid ways of fighting Mollusque-Lanceur. Sometimes the... Where's the fuck's he gone? Is he fucked off? Is he over here? There he is, yeah. Yeah, it can be sometimes just a little bit easier to get the Gushon on top of him, because especially if you hit X and A at the same time, you do like fly diagonally, so it's nice and straightforward. But sometimes you find yourself hovering above his head, and it can be really handy to try and ground pound. And obviously you can abandon your host and ground pound at any time. I'm not going to get to him here, am I? Oh, there we go. I can ground pound him down. It can be handy to stun him with the Gushon and then ground pound can be nice and quick. And with that, our reward for defeating Mollusque-Lanceur is, of course, a multi-moon. And this is the final story moon of the Seaside Kingdom, so at this point you are happy to head on to the next kingdom. But I'm, of course, not going to be doing that, because I never do that. That was really loud, good lord. But yes, we have got some stuff to gather here. I'm going to be spending another episode here after this one, which we're not at the end of yet anyway, because I do love this kingdom so, and once we hit world peace, it gets so much more beautiful. Observe. My goodness, what a pretty sunset. And it's so nice that the fountains and the sparkle water are back. But it doesn't seem like Bowser is in this kingdom anymore. Should we head to the next? Yes. We get the sunset. So after world peace, this kingdom goes into sunset, and it's so pretty. I do like this kingdom in the daytime with like the kind of Mario Sunshine style blue skies and fluffy clouds. But it's really nice in the sunset. It's much nicer. And the music is really nice, and it's a super relaxing kingdom. And we're basically just going to be running around exploring it, which is really cool. So that'll be next episode. This episode, we've actually still got a little bit more stuff we can do, time-wise. So we'll start with a Nintendo. So let's follow this guy around. Splendid, it looks as though he's connected enough cow moons. I'm not moving on though, Cappy. So he will dig around a bit here, and when he wants us to dig, we ground pound. And after the first dig, he will follow us. We need to lead him basically towards the beach house. He will stop along the way for various bits of bollocks, which is why I've got the speeder on. But once we get over to these rocks, I talked about having the speeder on, but I actually wanted to put it on there because I assumed I was going to put the speeder on because I assumed he was going to stop at some bollocks, but he didn't. He seems to have got straight here, and if I am correct, this will be where we need him to be. Wonderful. Then that is our moon, found on the beach. Good dog. Wonderful. Right, let us head now past. So, beach volleyball is back. That person said very briefly on the right, and we will do beach volleyball at the end of this episode because it's awful, awful. But for now, we have some business over here with this Gushion. So let's grab him. And we have this wall here, well, the cliff, that has got 3 purplums just stuck up it, which should bring us up to nice. But that means I haven't missed any so far. Don't want a repeat of the Snow Kingdom. Up here, we have a little area that we can only really access with a Gushion, except you can kind of wall jump up here. Not easy, but you can jab it. And this leads us to a Gushion-related secret area. So let's grab a Gushion, and here you have to be kind of careful with your water, generally. When it gives you an area to reload, certainly do. This thing is literally just, how do we combine the turbo nozzle with the hover nozzle? I was genuinely trying to think, like, do I just like the Seaside Kingdom because it's basically Mario Sunshine? I think, no, it does have its own merits. But also it is Mario Sunshine, which certainly doesn't do anything in its detriment to me, let's put it that way. Down here in this kind of poisony goo, we need to carefully swim through here, and I fear I've used up too much water. As I said, there's not much margin for error! Damn it. Right, we'll have to take another crack at this. So, let's get the main moon, which is relatively easy to get, and I'm going to take the pipe out and then just get back to where we were flying through the poison goo because we missed a secret, because it's quite easy to miss there. Alright, let's try and be a little bit more careful this time. I've already bounced off stuff, which isn't ideal. Let's go up and then across. Ah, no. Oh, killed. Right, this time I'm going to try and stay as high as possible to avoid, like, losing any water in, having to hover back up at the end. There we go. This puts us on a nice trajectory, and that should just get us here in time. This chest has the secret moon in it, and you have to be fairly careful with your water to get to it. With that, let's head back out to the Seaside Kingdom. Oh no, I'm ball bagged in here. Well, I guess I can just jump out. Actually, I don't need him to get there. Cool, let's head back out to the Seaside Kingdom. And we are going to end with beach volleyball. This is a kind of grueling challenge. If we head on the court, can you volley the ball 15 times easily? So, we've got this ball. Stand underneath it, and Mario will return it. You can also return it by hitting it with Cappy. And as you can see, there's a bit of a grace period where it hits the ground. It's quite forgiving in a lot of ways. If we hit it direct... Oh, okay, it's not that forgiving. Get off the court. I was trying to show a thing where if you hit it with Cappy, you do like a spike, which hits him in the mouth and gets you coins. So let's see if I can show that off. Maybe it has to be moving even faster before we can really do that. Well, either way, yeah, he's speeding it up slowly, and I will indeed speed it up in post and put the speeder on and go to 15. So as you can see, the shadow is your friend, but obviously you also need to look at what the arc of the ball is taking in real life to see, well, not just staring at the shadow. There's our moon for 15, to see kind of where it's going to land, at what point. Much like Jump Rope Hero and Jump Rope Genius in New Donk City, there are 2 moons for this. One for doing 15 rallies, and one, there we go, bollocks, and one for doing it for 100. And this one is horrific, if only because the first 20 takes fucking ages, and then it gets really difficult really quickly. And that's it. So I'm going to have one crack at it here, and... okay, right, let's have one actual crack at it. And then I will end the episode when I inevitably fail on this. There's one trick which I can give once it gets a little faster. So from probably about 10 onwards, my trick is don't stop moving, because basically stopping and starting moving again, you stop and then you start again, and you do take some time to accelerate, and he can hit it quite easily to basically anywhere in the court. You are best to basically, after hitting it, move towards the middle area and start just running around in circles, and then at least when you know which direction he's hitting it in, you are moving at full speed. And basically just have your finger on X or Y, whichever is your preferred kind of Cappy button, to throw it when it gets to it. With that, let's see how well I can do. There's a bit of, as you can see, a grace period, but as it gets faster, so too does the grace period when it hits the ground before you get failed out, get shorter. Ah, there we go, 29. I can reliably normally get up to... oh, fucking Christ, we're doing it again? Jesus. I think this is the issue, just the beginning is so slow, and it's really... like, it's so easy in the early stages that you sometimes fail it because you're just not even paying enough attention. It only gets really challenging once you're beyond, 20 or 25. One more time, then. Oh, don't spin around, you mad idiot. Yeah, nice tactic is, if there's any doubt you're going to hit it, throw Cappy, because maybe Cappy will hit it, and maybe Cappy will hit it on the return, because obviously Cappy comes straight back to you, so there's a good chance of him hitting it on the return, and you're certainly... if you throw Cappy unnecessarily, you, Mario, will still hit it anyway, so there's really no harm in throwing Cappy on basically every shot. And we'll see how we do. So yeah, Cappy absolutely saved my life, and there I was handy with the grace period. That was too much though, 51. We'll leave it at that. I'll dedicate basically an episode to that fucking Jump Rope Genius at some point when I hate myself. For now... we have restored peace to Bubblaine, and next episode we will be spending an entire episode gathering everything we can here in the Seaside Kingdom. Hope you join me then. Thank you very much, and good day.